Why are our girls, why are our women being killed?
Without men, the world cannot run.
Without women?
When you don't find love at home, a young lady will always look for the same love on the streets. Na ile mapenzi ambayo unapata kwa streets is the love that we are now talking about.
Now, tonight, we begin with the worrying trend of femicide in the country. Close to 100 women and girls have been killed in the last 3 months as the femicide crisis escalates.
So, wakati ambapo we fail to address these things from the grassroots and take the family back to the man, tusichukue hii familia tupatie serikali. Serikali has nothing to do about the family. The government can only come in wakati ambapo makosa yametendeka tayari.
Women and girls in our communities are enduring unspeakable violence. This year alone, we have seen tragic cases of sexual assault and brutal murders of women and girls, crimes that lay bare profound failure of our collective duty to protect our most vulnerable.
Sisi ndio tunakaa na wanawake katika nyumba zetu. Let us talk to the men. Let us bring the peace between the man and the woman. Let it not look as if the government cares for the family more than the man should be able to care for the family.
Yes, true.
Vitu mingi tutapata false accusation, na ndio sababu nilikuwa ninauliza, where does it start and where does it end? For the government it only comes in wakati ambapo janga limefanya nini? Limeshafanyika. Lakini iwapo haya ambayo yanaongelewa na serikali yatakuja katika familia zetu, and then you as my wife, you become tired of me because for any reason a woman just gets tired and then she decides I want to get out. Ukiinsist, anaweza chukua hata kisu aanze kujikatakata.
Yeah.
Tafu ajikimbize kwa serikali aseme kwamba he wanted to kill me. How many men we rot in jail?
So many.
Wengi hata saizi venye tunaongea hivi saizi, they are rotting in jail because of false accusation.
Yeah,
watoto wana grow, mtoto akiachieve 25 years ndiye anakuja anasema kwa serikali, anasema mama alinidanganya, alisema nidanganye kwamba baba alifanya.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Njenga Kenya TV. I'm the new host of today, Miss Beatrice, and it is an absolutely honor to be here with you in a such important timely topic. As many of you know that Njenga Kenya has been a platform that has continually strived to discuss the issues and the matter of most of our societies, issues that shapes and impacts our community. Today, we have a special and deeply personal discussion lineup it's called Femicide, the killing of women based on gender. It is a grave and disturbing issue that continues to affect not just our life of our women, but the fabric of our nation. It is a crisis that demands our attention, our empathy, and most importantly, our action. As usual, we have joined by the man who has been a voice of many of these difficult conversations, the usual host of Njenga Kenya himself today. Welcome. Karibu sana Njenga.
Asante sana Beatrice.
Karibu. Today we want you to at least take us through how femicides have been affecting this generation. It has become like an crisis to our nation today. What can you say about that?
You introduced it well.
Yeah.
Asante sana kwa nafasi hii. Leo nitaongea kwa Kiswahili na Kizungu because we are addressing a Kenyan issue.
Yeah.
And it's nice that you've thought that we come up with such a discussion which is of national interest. Yes, femicide, as I explained, is killing of the women. That is the simplest definition. Tuko na ile killing of the men, but today we are talking about the femicide, right?
Women, yeah.
Because it does happen from time to time. According to the National Police Service records, until now, last week tumekuwa na 97 killings, right?
Yeah.
And then just around the weekend we had another killing, which now comes to a total of almost 98. And there are so many others which are not reported. We can say that it's a grave issue. It is really grave issue because in our African society, we value the life of women so much. Myself, I've been advocating for the rights of men for the longest time, as you know me.
I know.
But today I feel that we have a responsibility for all of us to talk about this issue because it is really, really grave. The responsibility of men in the society was all about protecting the women. It was not all about fighting the women, but protecting the women, providing, giving that sense of direction. But the question that comes to mind today is that why is it that there is enmity between the female and the male gender, such that it's becoming a national disaster, the way we've been able to witness in the last 3 months? I think we can attribute this to a number of factors, most of which emanates from the family itself. Just as we have always been talking here on Jenga Kenya, addressing the men issues, is because men form that foundation on which the society has to be laid upon. And without men being empowered and being informed of their role in the society, that is why we are having all this confusion that we are having today. Today, the nation, the government is fighting from the top. The simplest way I can be able to explain this is that it's like a farmer who has a plantain, or let's use an example of a mango tree, right? A very fruitful mango tree. Now, the analogy behind the mango tree is that the mango tree now representing the whole family, the father, the mother, and the children. But then when you see the rot coming from the fruits, we don't prune off the fruits. When you see the leaves starts to wilt away or to dry away, we don't prune off the leaves so that we make the plant to survive. Because it's obvious the problem is from the root of the tree. Now, what is the root in this analogy? The root in this analogy is the father figure in the homes. This problem never used to exist before. But until recently, it has just mushroomed and now it's becoming a national disaster. So one of the biggest issues that I wish to address today is that father issue in the family, the male figures in the family. In as much as the system and the government is making it to appear as if a woman is at war with the man, the truth of the matter is that men are not at war. Men are simply not in the picture. This man that is supposed to be the protector of the family, the guide of the family, the person who is supposed to input the morality in the family is lacking from the family. And that is the biggest issue that we are having today.
Sorry for interrupting. So you want to say like these femicides mostly is caused by lack of having a father in a family, or what do you want to try to tell us? It
is a good question because from the statistics you will tell that most of those people, most of the women who are attacked under threat are very young. Isn't it?
Yes.
They are very young. They are not. Those have morality and they know where the limits stops. But when a young woman is raised without morality, and morality is one of the things that has been addressed by the president, just knowing where to start and where to stop. During our days, every time the father will come home, the first person to be questioned will be always the ladies in the house, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to this generation today, children have the freedom to do whatever they got to do because there is no that moral lessons being imparted into the families. One parent has been left all the responsibility to take care of the families. There are no fathers in the families. Lack of fathers at home is the basic one because the father figure is that tool that has to bring that order in the homes, right? Let me just use your example. When a young girl grows up and probably becomes a teenager, she's always very difficult to handle, especially by the mother.
Yes.
And all single mothers who are out there, or any other woman who is out there, can be able to attest to it.
Yeah.
The only person who can be able to challenge such is somebody who has a contrary feeling, and usually who is a male figure in the home. In most cases, is the father in the house. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for that. That are some of the causes that causes the femicide in our nation.
Yes.
Lack of father figure in a family.
Lack of the father is the problem.
Yeah, that is one of them. Let's just have a clip. Let's just have a clip on that.
As we address the protection and dignity of children in conflict with the law, our conscience cannot ignore the shadows cast of our society by the rising scourge of femicide. Women and girls in our communities are enduring unspeakable violence. This year alone, we have seen tragic cases of sexual assault and brutal murders of women and girls, crimes that lay bare profound failure of our collective duty to protect our most vulnerable.
What can you say about that clip?
Yeah.
As the CJ Martha Koome has just said about girls being the vulnerable in the community.
Girls and women being the vulnerable in the community. This is a very big point. And it's coming from, I will say, an old school mother. That traditional mother. The person that still uphold the traditions of our African setup society. Today, women and our young girls don't want to be, quote unquote, be called vulnerable, right? Because of these gender issues, the equality and so forth. But the truth of the matter is that because of such rise of the conversations of equality and gender equality, somehow has brought to a level of men not realizing that it is their position to protect the women and even the children. Probably that is why we are getting to this level. Men thinking that they are equal to women, but the muscle that we are built with is not to fight our women, but to protect our women. Probably somebody should be able to preach this out there. Those of the leaders who are purporting to preach that false empowerment that you can be able to match up with me. It's bringing that big bad picture, probably because in the family, in the modern generation, whereby a boy thinks that he is equal to a lady. And so whenever something emanates, whenever a quarrel emanates, a woman also wants to fight the boy. But during our times and our father's days, you could never fight a woman. You couldn't. And that's the reason it's very abhorrent even to me whenever I see a man fighting a woman. Yeah. But the problem, part of the problem is coming from the system itself.
Why are our girls, why are our women being killed? It is notable that the Deputy Inspector of Police, Kenya Police, yesterday put this alarming number of victims of femicide to 97 women killed in the last 90 days. One woman being killed is just too many. 97 is incomprehensible.
What can you say about being killed, a woman being killed in a society, like one woman being killed in a society? What is it entails in a society, like killing one woman?
The reason, thank you so much for the question, Beatrice. The reason as to why it was a man's responsibility to guard girls and women with all their might was because we understand a woman is only in a position of giving birth once in a year.
Yeah.
Once
in a year.
In a year. And that is why it is so precious, because, and it takes a single woman even to build a village,
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
Yeah, it takes a single woman to build a village. But it takes a multitude of men to build the same village. I don't know if you are getting my point.
Yeah, I'm getting your point.
Mwanamke mmoja anaweza tengeneza kijiji, but systematically with the years.
Yeah.
So if you kill this one woman, tukikuwa hata na wanaume wawili, there's no production and there's no growth in that community. And that is why our mother, the CJ Mother Koome, is addressing it from a traditional perspective. That one woman is too many. Now, destroying one woman or a girl means you have, it's like killing a community. The world comes to an end whereby all men die, and it remains very few women, very few men versus very many women. Now, one man was to serve 17 women. Yes, it's practical. 17 men are capable of populating the whole country in less than 10 years. And that is the reason as to why women are so precious.
Yeah.
Wanaume wachache sana can be able to run the world. I'm not trying to become a feminist in this. I've always been advocating for men's rights, because I know what it entails. Without men, the world cannot run.
Without women?
Without women, the world cannot grow.
Yeah.
Without men, the world can never run.
Alarming state of crisis demands action from every corner of our society. I call upon all law enforcement agencies in the justice sector, social services, and civil society organizations to intensify our vigilance and protective measures. Police officers, community leaders, Nyumba Kumi organizations, and all of our citizens must join hands to work together to ensure that our girls and women are safe in their homes. They are safe in their schools. They are safe in their workplaces, and also in the neighborhoods. Because this is where this...
You as a person, you as Njenga, Kenya, what are some measures you as a person that can contribute to the nation or to the government to do to protect this femicide to continue as a worldwide?
Thank you. As I've just talked about this and used the analogy of the mango tree. When the fruit drops, it doesn't mean that the fruit is rotting on itself. The problem is from the roots. So addressing this from a national perspective, I think cannot help. It's good that she has mentioned even to the levels of the Nyumba Kumi and such.
Police officers.
But the most important I'll take home is the man himself.
Why?
The man himself. Because who are you addressing? Who do you want to protect this family? If it's not the man himself. Who is the Nyumba Kumi? They are not women, right?
Yeah.
Ni nani wakipelekwa huko kwa polisi ndio wanaenda kushughulikia wanaume wengine? There's fellow men, right?
Yeah.
What if we can concentrate on these roots and the foundation of all the evil, which is man, in quotes, which is man. I'm making it in quotes because I know most of the killings probably, this is my own observation. Kuna mtu wewe kwa sababu I love you so much, wewe utanituma uniambie kwamba huyo mwanamke ananiletea shida. Ananiletea shida. And then I take it upon myself. Mimi ninapopatikana kwa hiyo ngori, ni mimi ndio ninafanya nini? Ninachukuliwa ni mimi nimeua. But in real sense, who has killed? The woman, right? So wakati ambapo we fail to address these things from the grassroots and take the family back to the man. Tusichukue familia tupatie serikali. Serikali has nothing to do about the family. The government can only come in wakati ambapo makosa yametendeka tayari. Unaona? kwa sababu it won't be in a position of monitoring all this. Sisi ndio tunakaa na wanawake katika nyumba zetu. Let us talk to the men. Let us bring the peace between the man and the woman. Let it not look as if the government cares for the family more than the man should be able to care for the family. Let me use this because we have been wired differently. Wewe kama mwanamke na mimi kama mwanamke, we are totally different people. Hata kama tunakaa kwa nyumba moja, your psychology is totally different. Your emotions, they are totally different from mine. Kuna wakati ambapo mwanamke anaweza choka tu kwa nyumba na anasema kwamba I'm tired with you. I'm tired with you. And she starts looking for ways of doing what? Of getting rid of you. Right?
Yes, true.
Vitu mingi tutapata false accusation, na ndio sababu nilikuwa ninauliza, where does it start and where does it end? For the government it only comes in wakati ambapo janga limefanya nini? Limeshafanyika. Lakini iwapo haya ambayo yanaongelewa na serikali yatakuja katika familia zetu, and then you as my wife, you become tired of me because for any reason a woman just gets tired and then she decides I want to get out. Ukiinsist, anaweza chukua hata kisu aanze kujikatakata. You have seen those?
Yes.
Mwanamke ataanza kujikatakata afa ajikimbize kwa serikali aseme kwamba he wanted to kill me. How many men we rot in jail?
So many.
Wengi hata saizi wenye tunaongea hivi saizi, they are rotting in jail because of false accusation. Watoto wana grow, mtoto akiachieve 25 years ndiye anakuja anasema kwa serikali, anasema mama alinidanganya, alisema nidanganye kwamba baba alifanya.
Deaths are taking place. They are taking place where we live. Preventing violence against women and girls is not just a legal responsibility. It is a moral duty shared by each one of us. So to every Kenyan, this day when we are launching the Justice Month for Children, I say this: we must break the silence. We must speak out and dismantle the systems that allow such heinous acts to go unchecked. Why are I accept that crap? Go unchecked.
Let me add something, Beatrice, kwa sababu kuna mengi sana ambayo tunaweza ongelea. There are so many factors which are contributing to this. Probably some people genuinely can be able to address them soberly without adding any emotions to them. There are so many factors that are leading us here. There's so much depression. When you tunaongea hivi, there's so much depression. Na addressing it by probably crucifying men na hata kuwachinja tukiwa hang may not solve. Sababu depression inakuja na much of which is coming from the economic factors that we are experiencing today. Who is bringing about all this? Probably the corruption, right? Kwa sababu wakati tunapoanza kuaddress, na tumesema kwamba we cannot address from the leaves, we have to address it from the roots. So when corruption comes, ways of making and living becomes incredibly unattainable. Wasichana wetu wanajaribu all options, it fails. The only choice anapata ni kwamba lazima nipate mbaba. And then probably the way of getting to get something out of this mbaba haikui ni ile njia ambayo ni ya kufurahisha labda. Si ndio? I'm just saying, these are just speculations. Unaweza kuta mtu after having that mulungula, she starts threatening your life. Yes? Usiponifanyia hivi.
I can talk it over the recent, there were some issues that mbabas alienda out na huyu dem, after kwenda out na huyu dem, sijui what happened between those two, and then akafungwa nini mlango ya gari, akarusha msana nje. Recently it's just happening around this city. Akamrusha nje and the girl was, sijui kama alikufa ama alipona, I can't tell. Imagine like a young girl.
Those are some of the examples now. Kuna wengine anakuja, hata mwingine ametumwa. You know, some of them are being sent by their elders. Hata mama zao. Kwamba aenda na akikosa kukupatia mwambie utamchafulia jina. It's happening, right?
Yeah.
It's happening. Ndio ifike kwa ile level yenye sasa mwanaume huyu, mwanamke, msichana mzuri huyu, this thing that you just shared love with, unafika mahali ya kuamua kumuua, itakuwa imekufikisha wapi? Surely.
Very bad.
So in itself, let us address it from the roots. From the roots, because there is a big problem. Much of which ni economic situation that we are in today. Ile yenye mama anaona tu mwanangu, toka tumie mbinu yoyote ambayo utaweza ufanye nini? Ulete chakula katika nyumba hii. Because probably is the mother herself who is fending for the family. Ile yenye mama anaona tu mwanangu, toka tumie mbinu yoyote ambayo utaweza ufanye nini? Ulete chakula katika nyumba hii. Because probably is the mother herself who is fending for the family.
Many times we are told no stone will be left unturned. Alafu wiki moja, wiki mbili, na amewauliza, do you see these stones being turned? We pray and hope that this will indeed be the last time.
What can you say about this statement that say that the state is not doing enough? The state is not doing enough according to Waiguru's talk.
According to Anne Waiguru's statement of that the state is not doing enough, is only promising. We can cite an example from the very first beginning of the femicide issues. Hiyo ya Jumaise. Jumaise. Huyu Kware massacre, yeah? The Kware massacre. The self-proclaimed serial killer. Now, when you think about a self-proclaimed serial killer, tunaona kwamba ni mtu mwenye ni threat sana kwa inchi. A threat. But looking at how he was handled until the moment when the security service inaweza simama itoke iseme kwamba amepotea na hatujui penye ameenda, in itself brings a lot of questions, right?
Yeah.
Therefore, for Anne Waiguru to be able to question such acts, lazima there's some truth. But even having said that, yeye pia ni serikali, si ndio? Wakati ambapo ana accuse the state ya kwamba is not doing enough, yeye ndiye anatakana kukua huko kwamba anapigania raia, si ndio? Yeye ndiye anatakana kukua huko, anasaidia kupush the thing. I applaud them because wamekuwa so vocal mpaka ambapo juzi tumesikia the president like twice has been able to mention the same and making it a crisis, a national crisis. Yeah. But even with the president making it a national crisis, lazima to revisit. Yeah, lazima to revisit. Where is the problem?
It's coming.
Kwa sababu it's not ending.
It's
continuing. Na si kwamba labda mbaba si ameenda kuchukua msichana. Ni msichana ameenda kwa
mbabas.
Human rights organizations, including the Federation of Women Lawyers of Kenya, FIDA, now want these femicide cases, which currently stand at 30, declared a national disaster. FIDA, alongside the Law Society of Kenya and 8 other human rights bodies, have faulted the government for failing to address the murders with the seriousness they deserve. And as Brenda Wanga now reports, FIDA also intends to introduce femicide as a standalone crime within the penal code.
Should femicide be treated as standalone crime?
No.
What do you think?
No.
Why?
No. Kwa sababu we have so many crimes. Okay. The state might wish to introduce whatever they wish to introduce. But remember, these people, na venye tu tumeongea hapa awali, remember these people that you are making it so tough for them, they're your sons. Unajua hivyo?
Unajua.
They're your sons. Wakati unaona mwanaume mwingine huko kiti memtendekea na haujachukua nafasi, we are not advocating for these femicides. In fact, it's very heinous. Wenye tu tumeanza kusema kwamba ni kitu kibaya sana. But remember that you are raising sons. You are raising sons. Your sons might be young today, but somehow watakuwa watu wazima. Na kuna a way that itakuja affect mpaka waanze kufikiria how to unwind whatever you proposed into being, na itakuwa ni ngumu. If we separate this, tutakuwa tunasema femicide iko treated kama
crime.
Kama crime gani sasa?
A very big one.
Kama ya kutopple government ama ya kufanya namna gani?
Kitu kama hiyo.
In this case we are talking about murder case. Ukisikiza hawa, they are talking about not treating femicide as a normal murder. How is normal murder treated?
Normally. Anapelekwa waende wasikie kwa court, after kusikizwa kwa court, utasikia 1, 2, 3 months, imeenda hivi, kapotea.
Na tukifanya ikuwe standalone, how will it be like?
It will be treated like this is a serious
eye for an eye.
Yeah, eye for an eye. Like treat mse, sijui naweza kuexplain aje, like ni mtu mwingine anafaa kuhandoliwa in a serious case to like unamhandle tu sijui very ruthlessly ama naweza sema aje.
So even coming to that, yes, we can say that you can treat it as a standalone. But hata murderers tumeona wengine US juzi wanakuwa executed after like 25-30 years. They are still murderers. Wengine wameua familia mzima lakini is still. So let us not make this thing look as if it's a gender targeted issue, right?
Yeah.
Just as the DCI has been able to put it.
The motive is purely crime. There was no intention to specifically target the members of the gender, of the female gender. So it was purely a criminal activity. So let's remember the gender not feel that they are being targeted by this criminal.
Tusifanye ionekane ni kana kwamba it's war between men and women. Let us just treat it as a crime towards humanity. Yeah. Na labda sheria iweze kuchukuliwa kwa watu wenye, but with, of course, with some good investigation, right?
Yeah.
Because tunajua kwamba kuna mambo mengi sana ambayo yataenda wrong. Already much has gone wrong, and that is why we are having this, because fathers are not at home.
Yeah.
Many fathers are in jail today. Wako huko badala ya kuwa na instill discipline in the home. Na wako huko for wrong accusation.
Pia sometimes some causes of lead to femicide, there's stress.
A lot.
Yeah. Mtu akikuwa stress up in one on another issues, mtu anaweza tu amua to like mbona.
We cannot also ignore the fact that there is a lot of movies watching and everything, and people think that life is not sacred. It's so simple just to kill just like that. So I think that is another reason, and people are stressed generally. You'll agree with me that economically we are not where we should be. Globally, there has been economic recession.
Before you know it, you have already committed something which is bad. Now, Pia, it is my word to both our sisters as well. Even as we look into ways of protecting our families. Na mimi, it's my humble call to my fellow men, kwamba let us go back home, let us love our daughters, let us show them the right love. Because when the father is not at home, she misinterprets kindness for love. When you don't find love at home, a young lady will always look for the same love on the streets. Na ile mapenzi ambayo unapata kwa streets is the love that we are now talking about, the femicides. It can only happen that a woman can be able to get that love that she deserves, which she usually finds from the father. Your first love is usually your father, right?
Yeah.
Now the first love to a son is usually the mother. So if the family can be able to achieve this, the daughters and the sons can be able to achieve this from the father and the mother, I think these issues of femicides will be a foregone case. Inviting fathers back to their homes, let them come back home. Msilete uadui katikati ya mwanaume na mwanamke. Invite the husbands home. Invite your lovers at home. And let us make a community together.
Let's have peace.
Let's have peace.
Hata kama tunataka kumalizia, what can you tell these young girls who are outside there, who are like, you know, like they have watched the movies, they have read the stories about this, my mother was killed with my father, like, you know, this girlfriend was killed with a boyfriend, like they have that thing back of their mind. What can you tell them?
It brings us back to the family again, because much of the families have been left in the hands of technology and media. Saa hizi mambo mengi ambayo tunafanya ni kugoogle tu.
Yeah.
YouTube na some very funny sites. Now most of which are being created purposely for the lonely souls who are our sons and our daughters. Therefore my word is that na saa hizi, you know, advice ya baba, it doesn't make sense to the young ones.
No.
So my word to our daughters, seek love from the right sources. Tafuta upendo kutoka kwa baba yenu, tafuta upendo kutoka kwa mama yenu. A father is the only person who will give you that honest love without expecting anything in return. Na baba anapokuwa katika maisha yako, you learn to differentiate between that genuine love and that fake love that you are going out to seek in the arms of your murderers. So ladies, especially young ladies, because this is happening to the young ladies.
Yeah.
Vijana wadogo ambao hawana mwelekeo, ambao wamekataa ushauri wa baba zao na ushauri wa mama zao. I keep on telling the young ones that you will never be as wise as your mother, you will never be as wise as your father, because you are only a chromosome. Kachembe kidogo, you are just a sperm of your father. Kadogo tu. So in any case, you are just a bit of your father.
Yeah.
So whatever your father tells you, or whatever your mother tells you, heed to that. Tunarudi kwa Bible kwa sababu siku hizi hata generation ya saizi it doesn't acknowledge anything about the Bible. Tunasoma tu mambo ambayo yanatoka ugaibuni, which is bringing a lot of confusion today. So kama vijana watarudi kwenye kanisa na wasome mausia yanayofaa, na warudie wazazi, na warudie jamii, seeking guidance from the society, I think we shall have a beautiful Kenya. Probably that is why this is called Jenga Kenya.
Thank you. Asante sana. Asante sana kwa kukuja, na asante sana kwa kutupatia mawaidha ambayo inaweza tusaidia.
Now hicho kiti nimekuachia.
Nashukuru. You're out there, you want to talk about any issue, just Njenga Kenya is the one. Will you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Njenga Kenya? You can go Facebook, Njenga Kenya. Subscribe, share, and well, thank you so much.
Let's have a conversation here on Njenga Kenya. You are the best host.
Thank you.
Asante sana.
Asante.